Welcome to the Woodridge Audio Project. I'm David, or Dave if you prefer, from audioprojectcentral.com, and I'm hosting the Woodridge Audio Project. This episode of the Woodridge Audio Project is part of the uplifting, informative, and, I'm sure you will agree, inspirational series of character profiles of different people at the school. Please share the episodes with your friends and your family via your social media or in whatever ways you can think of, even if that means emailing a link to someone. You can find out more about Woodridge or contact a member of the team by visiting www.woodridge.co.za. The guest for this episode is Onika Ngewu, college pupil and deputy head of Founders Residence, and she begins by answering my question about her background.
Hi, I'm Onika. I'm in grade 12 at Woodridge College, and I'm from Pretoria, so I've been in boarding here since grade 8, and I'm deputy head of hostel of Founders, so that's my role that I play.
What is it like to wake up on that beautiful campus and see your beautiful surrounds every day when you're on campus?
Well, the perk of being deputy head of hostel is that my room is right by our balcony, so every morning I wake up and I open my door and I just look at the view. But then I get attacked by monkeys, so I have to close the door really quickly because those monkeys are just wild. So yeah, it's really nice to wake up to the sunrise in the morning.
Not something you would have experienced in Pretoria very often, I imagine.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's cars. You open the windows, there's cars. You open the window, you hear there's monkeys. So very different.
And what was it like adapting from city slicking to then living in a beautiful semi-rural place with mountains and rolling hills and gorges and rivers and that kind of thing? What was the adjustment like for you?
Well, the first thing is that the air is way cleaner than Pretoria. Like, it just smells like industrialization up in there. But here it's just like fresh air. Like, you can go on a hike with friends sometimes, or like you can do anything here. Like, it's literally its own little bubble in the middle of nowhere. So it's very nice to like just take a walk and appreciate like the nature around here.
Is there anything about you that nobody listening is likely to know that you're happy to share with me?
I played violin for like 6 years. Like, a lot of people know that though, but I don't play anymore. I don't have anything crazy. I'm just a schoolgirl doing my thing. Okay.
And what is that thing when it comes to the residence duties?
There's a head of hostel, which is Tundi, and then I'm deputy, but we generally do breakfast duties, and we're dorm seniors too. I'm a dorm senior, so we just make sure that they're working at prep, we take away their phones so they get focused. Like, we just help the inner workings of the hostel.
And do you feel like that's setting you up with some advantage for the world that you will enter beyond school?
Yes, definitely, because I have been in a hostel institution since grade 4, but it's just different being a leader within the hostel now. So it's different now that you have to make sure that the younger ones are just doing their part and just making sure that everything's running smoothly. But whereas when I was younger, it was just like I focused on myself. But since I'm a leader, I have to help others now.
Are there any highlights that stand out when looking back at your time at Woodridge so far?
Before COVID, obviously, but sometimes during the weekends we'd have like braais with like all the hostels together on the field, and it would be fun because boys would play soccer on this side, girls would go swim. Like, it was just always so fun.
Strong sense of, I was going to say brotherhood, but that's sisterhood too. So excuse me, a strong
community.
Sense. Yes, a strong sense of community. I'm getting that from all the people who I'm talking to for these interviews. Everyone seems to really want to foreground the community aspect as well as the outdoor aspect as well, because you've got so much happening definitely there. So do you take advantage of the outdoor opportunities?
Matric is really difficult, so I haven't been doing much lately, but sometimes I'll just like, because the funny thing is, the boys, every time they come to supper, the grade 8 boys will always have their bicycles. So you just ask one of them to ride their bicycle, you just ride around school. It's just like, you can do whatever you want, but I don't really do the OE, like the outdoor education necessarily. I just do like the normal sports.
Would you say that there's anything you've learned in your life so far that you could offer as a piece of advice to your peers, your fellow students? What comes to mind as a useful piece of advice?
It's a bad day, not a bad life. I saw that like a few years ago, and like it's factual, because sometimes they won't necessarily live presently, and they'll just think about all the bad, but they forget to look at the good, and that there's another day, you can try again. It's not a big deal. Just keep going.
When you think of Woodridge, what is the first word that comes to mind?
All I can think about is just like the OE course. I don't know why. I'm not very involved in that part, but when I applied for the school and I walked around, I just remember the first time Mr. Botha, our deputy head, he had taken my mom and I around the school just to check out the scenery or whatnot. But then we saw this one course that there's a huge rope and you swing and you go into a net. But I didn't have a harness or anything protective. But I was like, can I please do this? And I did it. I didn't fall and die to my death, but it was just funny that I got to do that. And that's all I think about when I think of Woodridge, the OE course.
What would you say your favorite thing is about your role at the hostel?
It's fun because all matrics are the oldest people within the hostel. Obviously, you have your matrons that are older than us, but it's just like new people coming in and me showing them around and like making them love it the way I do, you know, like it's like I've befriended a lot of people that I wouldn't necessarily befriend if I was a day scholar, for instance. So it's just nice to have different people from different backgrounds, just all under one roof. So it's just, yeah.
And for younger students who are listening to you now wondering, well, you know, not everyone can be head of founders residence or deputy head of founders residence. What do you think they could do to get the same kind of experience there, the same kind of exposure to other people, creating that kind of camaraderie? What do you think they could do?
People have this narrative in their head that you need to be in a leadership position to make an impact on someone or meet the people or just interact in a totally different way. I just think personally, the best way to have a social life, inverted commas, is being in hostel, because yes, being at school, you see your friends, but with hostel, it's like you have friends in the boys' hostels or the other girl hostels. It's just like, it's definitely a different dynamic, whereas like most people that are day scholars are friends with people on the bus, but I'm friends with people in grade 8 that are in like Cola hostel. Like it's very fun to meet and be around different types of people all the time, because this is our home away from home.
So looking back on 2020, that was your grade 11 year, the one that led you into this very important matric year of yours. What was your biggest challenge and how do you think you overcame that challenge?
Honestly, I enjoyed lockdown. I really, really did. It was nice to grow as a person, but it made me also realize how much I missed school, because when I came back, it was very nice to see all my friends and that. But everyone needs their time to grow and learn about themselves. So I enjoyed lockdown. I didn't have a challenge. I'm sorry.
It's very seldom that one hears that, because a lot of people really did battle. But it's nice to hear that some people had a good time.
Yeah.
So moving towards an end now, do you have any recommendations on books, films, podcasts, or documentaries, anything really that might be of interest to listeners, and why would you recommend it?
I'd say the Da Vinci Code. I'm currently reading that now. I'd recommend it to people that are very much into crime or like mystery and that. Like just like it's not a slow burn book. It's each chapter leaves you at a cliffhanger. So it's a good read. And a movie would be Inception. Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. It's just, I can't explain it. You have to watch it. It's just, it's amazing. That's all I can say.
And any words of inspiration or wisdom to conclude the interview and let listeners look at the world a little differently after they've listened to this?
Be gentle to yourself, because you need to put yourself first and take care of yourself and the body that you inhabit.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Thanks for listening, and please do remember to share the episodes and relevant social media posts with your friends and family, and like the episodes at whichever social media platform you found them on. If you have any follow-up questions, head over to www.woodridge.co.za, where you will find the contact details for the school, and you can contact me at www.audioprojectcentral.com.